And welcome to the Sportscast, May 9th, 2019. If you haven't yet, please subscribe at all our channels, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and iTunes. And if you're in iTunes, please subscribe, leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. And, of course, visit us on thesportscast.net. The Boston Celtics have been eliminated by the Milwaukee Bucks 4-1. A terrible performance by the Celtics. What's going to happen to Kyrie? Will he go to the New York Knicks, as rumored to be? To join us to talk to us about the NBA playoffs and the Celtics is Ryan Christa. Welcome back to the Sportscast.
Santiago, it's good to be here. Middle of a great month of NBA basketball here. We kind of got what we wanted here. The top four teams in the Eastern Conference playing each other in the semifinals. I was definitely surprised by the lack of effort from the Celtics this playoff, or this round especially after that first game performance. I thought they might at least take the Bucks to 6 or 7 games, but the last week has not been the best week for the Celtics.
What happened with the Celtics? Is it Kyrie Irving? Is Kyrie Irving not the superstar, not the go-to guy like Steph Curry? What's his deal?
He definitely didn't play like it this last 4 games. I mean, he shot a terrible percentage. He looked like he didn't care. Just didn't show that leadership, that kind of I want the ball, I'm going to make the shot kind of that you get from LeBron or Kevin Durant, or James Harden.
Yeah, of course, there are rumors that Kyrie might go to New York. I mean, how valid are those rumors?
I didn't hear what you said.
There are rumors that Kyrie might be going to the New York Knicks or just leaving the Celtics. In general, what do you think will happen?
I think he's definitely leaving the Celtics. I think as you walk off the court, you can kind of see that he was done. It was, an experiment. It really didn't work out. I just think there wasn't much team chemistry. There's so much expectation for the Celtics this year, and it just never really panned out.
Yeah.
But where he goes, I'm not quite sure. I think he's heading to the Big Apple, whether it be the Knicks or the Nets.
The Brooklyn Nets. He wants to go to New York, pretty much. I
think so. I think he sees the money that's there in the sense of endorsement. Neither team, right now the Nets have D'Angelo Russell, who's a free agent, who also, they're looking to sign. But, again, the Nets. But that would be a nice 1-2 combination if it all works out between Kyrie and D'Angelo Russell. And then you look at the Knicks, and they're just dying for some star to come there. And there's talks, Kyrie comes, that might lure Kevin Durant to come, or vice versa.
Yeah, which I've been hearing those rumors, Kevin Durant and Kyrie, pairing up, and maybe possibly bringing Zion if they draft him.
Yeah, it's interesting because of the timing of the free agency. They'll know who's going to be who the next draft, because the draft is late June. Well, free agency doesn't start till July 1st. I think that's going to be a big impact to see who the Knicks get in the draft.
Last night's game, the Celtics, Kyrie had 15 points. He was the highest scorer. Then you had Marcus Morris Sr. had 14. Jaylen Brown had 12. Jason Tatum had 14. Let's not take away the glory of the Bucks. Giannis had 20 points. Nikola Mirotic had 10 points. Chris Middleton had 19. Eric Bledsoe had 18. Ersan Ilyasova had 10, George Hill had 16, and Malcolm Brogdon had 10. How do you see this Milwaukee Bucks team? You think they like to approve a lot of people with this series. Do you think they potentially could go to the finals?
Absolutely. Santiago, this is the deepest team in the NBA. And they got a star and, the Greek freak in Antonopoulos. But they also just have so many pieces around them. They can shoot the three at a high percentage. They got, and they're top 3 offense, the best defense team. When they're engaged, they play great defense. They're long and athletic. So whether they play the Raptors or the Sixers, I definitely think they're going to be the favorite. And I don't think they'll be afraid of whoever they play in the West. Most likely the Warriors, but you never know.
Speaking about the Warriors, last night the Warriors defeated the Rockets 104-99. Great win by the Warriors. But the biggest setback was Kevin Durant suffering a calf injury. He's supposedly getting an
Yeah,
MRI.
so-
How significant is
I mean,
this?
this afternoon, the biggest news that's going to affect the NBA playoffs, I think, what's the status of Kevin Durant? This is eerily similar to last year, Santiago. Remember, after Game 5, the Rockets won up 3-2 against the Warriors, and Chris Paul injured his hamstring and wasn't able to play the next 2 games, but the Warriors won. Could this be eerily similar, where the Warriors go 3-2, but they lose Kevin Durant in the process? Because he's definitely not playing the next game, and I highly doubt he's going to play in either of the next 2 games. And the status is kind of unclear for beyond that, even if it's just calf strain, which is very hard to come to recover from quickly.
But even without Durant, do you think the Splash Brothers is enough to push the edge over the Rockets and maybe go to the finals?
It might. They should be. I mean, they're still extremely talented. And they won championships without Kevin Durant. So, obvious answer is yes, they could. But, they rely so much now on Kevin Durant. If you watch them play, when they need a big shot, that's who you go to. It was kind of a big deal to kind of finish that game off without him last night. But still, push comes to shove, they definitely rely on Kevin Durant this playoff and the season.
Which I would like. I mean, I always liked the Warriors without Durant. I've always been a fan. I don't think they really needed him. They could have gone to the finals without him. They could have won without him. Obviously, they got him because they wanted to have a better matchup against LeBron in the finals against Cleveland.
Yeah. I mean, you're not gonna say no when that's the second best player in the NBA wants to join you, and probably the best scorer we have in the NBA. I mean, this kind of still amazes me. You got the best shooter in the NBA, the top 2 shooters in the NBA, and then you got the best scorer. I mean, it's just crazy to think that team ever loses a game.
Well, we'll see what happens. The series is up 3-2. The Rockets
just to kind of close out this, talk, I definitely, if Kevin Durant isn't going to play, I think, the Rockets, I think they got it. I think this is the most vulnerable the Rockets Warriors have been since they've been in the last 3 or 4 years. So,
which this probably is the best series outside of the finals.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best series we've had in the playoffs so far. Most every game has gone down to the wire. Every game is competitive. They're extremely. The Rockets, I think, have changed the way they play them. I think Mike D'Antoni is an underrated coach right now. I think he had this stigma when he first came in the NBA. He kind of changed the way the NBA is played. Fast pace, shoot a lot of 3-pointers, and that's what pretty much everybody else does in the NBA. But if you watch the Rockets, they're very slow. They're deliberate. They kind of do it the opposite way what Mike D'Antoni first developed. That's because he knows what type of players he has in Chris Paul and James Harden, how to get the most out of them.
Of course, the Rockets for tomorrow, they have a chance to tie up the series. Tomorrow is Game 6, Friday, 9 p.m. is a Western Conference game, and hopefully we'll see what happens with the Rockets. This is their time to tie it up. If it comes out to a 7-game series, it definitely will be a must-watch Game 7. I think the whole country would like to see it, which it could be. If there is a Game 7, it will be on Sunday, so you just can't beat the ratings for those. Let's go to college football. Surprisingly, Florida freshman cornerback Chris Steele, a former top 50 prospect, will transfer from the Gators. Florida's top signee from its most recent recruiting class is bailing on the Gators after just 5 months on campus. 4-star cornerback Chris Steele, the number 2019 and prize prospect of head coach Dan Mullen, has entered the NCAA transfer portal and will lead the program, a source confirmed to CBS Sports. What are your thoughts about that, and how big of a ramification is this for the Gators?
It's not a good look, from the outside. There's stories that, last week we also lost the Gators lost a quarterback recruit, Jalen Jones, put himself in the transfer portal after later finding out that he was accused of assaulting a female in his dorm. Sources say that Christa was aware, that the trouble that Jones was getting into and just didn't like being around it and wasn't thinking that people are being held accountable, and that's why he went out. Whether it's true or not, that's what you're hearing from the outside. Whether it is or not, this is the best player they signed. A player they were going to depend on this year, but most importantly for the next 2 years, right now they have pretty good depth. So they can keep this unit together in the secondary because they have C.J. Henderson and Marco Wilson, who are, in all regards, top NFL prospects for the cornerback position for next year. So we'll be okay for this year, but they're going to definitely have to fill that need in this next recruiting cycle. But in the public eye, this is not a good look for Dan Mullen. Anytime you lose a top recruit and there's bad publicity, this can be used against team's recruiting trail, in the future.
The Gainesville Sun reported that the decision to leave was a result of a request that was not honored by the Florida staff. Steele reportedly requested to change dorm rooms shortly after he enrolled because he felt uncomfortable sharing a residence with four-star quarterback signee Jalen Jones. The staff decided not to move him during the spring semester, although they did plan on moving him this summer. So where do you think he'll go? I mean, I've been hearing Miami, but what teams do you think would be a good fit, and which teams would want him?
Well, remember, and I don't know if you know, but he's a West Coast kid, so Florida's tried so hard to get to the West Coast, make a recruiting impact. They lost out on a couple guys they really wanted, ended up going to Oregon. But he's, a Southern California guy, I think, he's going to go back to the West Coast, but, he may just like Florida, Miami isn't a bad possibility, especially knowing that the first game of the year is against the Gators, so if emotions get into this decision, it could be the Hurricanes, but I'm leaning more either USC or Oregon.
How about UCLA?
It's not a destination right now, Santiago.
I'm just kidding.
Now that it's hard to believe, Chip Kelly, who changed college football 10 years ago, comes back, after, I would say, a failed attempt in the NFL. He was just awful last year, Santiago. And I know you can only do what you inherited, but he also didn't do much in recruiting. So I know I'm kind of getting off subject here, but I just don't like the future of UCLA right now. But I do think Chip Kelly's still a good college coach. I don't think they're going to be 3-9 this year again, but I don't see him being higher than 6-6.
Ooh, another bad season. It's a tough situation. UCLA. It's very toxic, and of course, Kingsbury was one of the assistants there, and now he's the coach at Arizona Cardinals. So of course, he got Kyler Murray. So we'll see what happens with UCLA. Chip Kelly, good fan. He was quite impressive with Oregon, but of course, Oregon is in good hands with Mario Cristobal.
We got a long ways before college football season, Santiago, but, Oregon put together the best, Chip Kelly was a good coach and did a lot with what he got, and he looked for certain players. But the overall talent right now at Oregon has never been better than it has been this year. And that a lot of that talent's still raw and young, but they got a great quarterback coming back, and the sky's the limit for that team. I don't know if they're a playoff team, but I definitely like them to win the Pac-12.
Yeah, which I think the likelihood is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it really comes down to, the game. They got a game up in Washington, which is the two most talented teams in the Pac-12. So, but, they got a tough start to the season again, going to, I believe, Jerry's World to play Auburn. So maybe a good test. So.
We'll see if Washington is a spoiler for Oregon, but I've always said Oregon was built for 2019. Herbert in his career is definitely on the upswing if he does well. Maybe one of the top two quarterbacks in the draft of next year. And really quick, what you think about the NFL draft this past month?
you got to look at, you get prepared for the draft. You can see, who the top prospects are, what teams need. When the draft happens, and we all say, this team did great, this team did bad, Let's just let it play out. We're going to my favorite team, the Broncos. I was praying that they didn't use the 10th pick on the quarterback because when you're 5 and 11, you've got a lot more holes than just a quarterback, especially when you bring in a veteran quarterback like Joe Flacco, who's going to be a quarterback this year, back in 2002. I was happy that, we drafted, what we needed, the tight end. And then we go and draft another need position, and that's the offensive line. And then we came back and got the same quarterback that they wanted in Drew Lock. So that's a success, whether these players pan out or not, we'll see. It's a lot of projection what this player could do, but, pick my name because Haskins, the Redskins, I think, being a local kid, and what the Redskins have, I think this player is going to come in day one and start. And it's going to be interesting to see what the Giants have planned for Daniel Jones. There's no one who has more pressure on them going forward than Daniel Jones because the Giants took kind of a lead taking Jones for the 6th pick.
Yeah, quite surprising with Daniel Jones. Of course, we kind of predicted that I'm here in the sportscast that the Giants could go with a quarterback, but we didn't think it was Daniel Jones. It could have been Haskins. What do you think about Haskins' selection going to the Redskins?
Yeah, what I like about him is he's a great thrower of the football. Is he mobile? No. Can he, that's going to affect him? Yeah. And but some of the darts he was throwing aren't targeted next year. 60 touchdown passes in the Big Ten. That's quite the accomplishment. So I know he was playing in a kind of a quarterback-friendly system, but still, he can definitely put the ball on target. He's got a strong arm. As long as he gets good protection, I think he's going to have good success, and they got Adrian Peterson back for this year, so I like what the Redskins are going to do. I just think that division. I'm not sold on the Eagles. I'm not sold on the Cowboys. I'm not sold on anybody. I don't think there's a good team in that division. So, if Haskins can be an immediate impact, yes, they still have Case Keenum. If Haskins is I think Haskins will be the quarterback sometime this year, but he may not stay with that. I definitely think that he'll have some sort of immediate impact on the team.
Will Josh Rosen be a immediate impact for the Miami Dolphins?
As I'm talking to one of South Florida's own Santiago Leone, I want to say Josh Rosen will have an impact, but that team has got a terrible roster, Santiago. I'm sorry.
I've never heard that in a while.
I just don't think they're very good. I think this is a rebuilding project. I feel bad for Josh Rosen. I know they got some decent receivers, so I think he'll put up some good numbers. But talent-wise, I don't know. I'm just not really in love with what I see. But
we'll see what happens with the Dolphins, of course.
I'll just say I think the fourth-place team in the division, and that's a division. I think it's do I think the Bills and Jets will challenge the Patriots? No. I mean, I don't.
How about the Jets? You think they might challenge the Patriots a little bit?
What'd you say?
What about the New York Jets? You think they're able to challenge the New England Patriots?
Yeah, I think if they get the lead ability we've seen before, yeah, and I think Sam Darnold showed enough ability, and honestly, I think this is a good coach, Santiago. I think he got the most out of the Dolphins. Was he the premier coach like Bill Belichick? No, but I think he got a lot out of the Dolphins, and I think they've got a good foundation in the Jets. And same way, I think the Bills have got a great foundation. Two teams of, I think promising young quarterbacks who are on the upswing. I think just waiting for Tom Brady to remember that he's 40-plus years old. And I just think the Dolphins in time putting that roster together, new GM, I think with a new point of looking at talent. Hopefully they give the coach some time to get things together. Whether they keep Rosen beyond this year,
but
they go for with the star quarterbacks coming out next year, but or they try to sell for 2 years and get Trevor Lawrence in the first pick next year. Who knows? Yeah.
Well, the whole plan, it was the tank for Tua. Do you think either if it's Fitz or if it's Rosen, the Dolphins have enough to tank for Tua?
Oh, sure. I just say, the roster is terrible, but I think personally that they could surprise me though. So we'll see. I just think they're going to come in last place in that division. So.
That's a good sign for us. Anything else before we head into game predictions?
In regards to the NFL draft, like I said, time will tell. I tell anybody, don't judge a book by its cover, and just because we're a team quick, let the off season go, let the training camps come, and then kind of judge, as the games start next year, how those picks look. I say it almost takes 10 years to NFL draft. The NBA playoffs, I look for I'd be real excited for either of the Raptors or Sixers to play the Bucks. I think that'd be a great series. And the rest of them, I'm really cheering for the Rockets to beat the Warriors. I'm not gonna, and if that happens, there's a good chance Kevin Durant may never play again for the Warriors if he does. If he does miss against this series.
You really think the Rockets? Well, we'll see what happens. I think tomorrow night, I really do think the Warriors are okay without Durant, but some people say I'm wrong, but I really do think because they'll make Curry.
And our brother out on the West Coast, let's hope that the Rip City Blazers they force a Game 7,
which is the next, which in game predictions we're going to talk about that. Denver at Portland. Who do you have tonight?
I'm going to go with Portland. They kind of got embarrassed the other night in Denver, and Game 6, when the team is back against the wall at home, usually ends up winning and forcing a Game 7. I think that's what's going to happen. The Nuggets are an extremely young team, average age of 24 years old. So don't look for them to, have that composure and that killer instinct tonight. And you're going against a veteran team with Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum and I just think the Blazers, I think the Nuggets have great depth on their team and play so well together. It's going to be hard to pick against them in Game 7 if it's home. But tonight I definitely want to go with the Blazers.
Can you break down this Denver team? I am not convinced with them yet. I mean, obviously, yes, they beat the Spurs, but all they have is Jokic. And Jokic is not the typical go-to guy. He's more of a passer, get the ball, give it to someone. But can you break down Denver? I mean, I'm having a hard time to believe they can go deep.
I would have said the same thing to you about a week and a half ago in Santiago. I would be lying to you if I said I watched a lot of Denver Nuggets games. I watched, stats, I watched clip here, clip there, I don't think I watched the whole Denver Nuggets game during the regular season. Because they're just not on a lot, because they're not one of the teams, that's always going to be on TV. But at the same time, man, I am so impressed with that team. Jokic is as advertised, He's basically a 7-foot point guard out there, Santiago. He can score, he can pass, he can shoot the 3-ball. And Jamal Murray is as advertised too. Those two have such great combination and with each other, and then they just got, they defend well. Gary Harris is probably one of the best two-way players in the sense that he's a great defender and can score the ball, and Paul Millsap, just a veteran presence on that team. I've been so impressed with that team. When they lock down defensively, the couple of years they've made it very common Lillard to get to the basket, and the percent is the Blazers go is how Damian Lillard goes, there goes the Blazers.
Yeah, so obviously the Nuggets are up 3-2, but you're saying the Blazers will pull this off. But wow, it's gonna be tough.
The the most impressive game I've seen. Sunday night after a 4 overtime defeat. The Nuggets team, and what you would think to be a young team after a devastating loss like that, and kind of lay an egg. And if they go down 3-1, the series is pretty much over. And they responded, and clutch shot after clutch shot, even by ex-Blazer Will Barton, kind of sealing the deal back-to-back 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. This team just seems beyond their years, But I just think that, the window for the Blazers could be closing, maybe if they don't get this, victory here tonight.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I am looking at Denver. Obviously, if they make it the Western Conference Finals, then they're definitely were a true number 2 in the Western Conference. Let's go into the Eastern Conference. Another interesting series. Toronto's up 3-2 against Philadelphia. Obviously, I thought at one point Philadelphia was going to win this series, but then Toronto and Kawhi Leonard is now people are comparing him, with Kobe. So, how do you see this series going?
This series is interesting. Game 1, the Raptors absolutely destroy the Sixers at home. And then you're thinking, oh, man, the Raptors are going to roll. But there comes the Sixers, Game 2, come out and they, handily beat the Raptors on the road, and then they destroy them. And you're thinking, oh, okay, maybe it's going to be the Sixers. And there comes the last 2 games. The Raptors won Game 4 on the road in a close game, and then they go absolutely destroy the Sixers the other night. But, with the Sixers now with the backing against the wall at home, that same thing, that Game 6 at home, usually have that killer instinct, do the Raptors bring it tonight to try to close them out? But I'm going to go with the Sixers tonight. I'm going to go with the home team in both Game 6s.
So you go to the Sixers Game 6, going to 7 games.
I'll probably just like Game 7, so I want to cheer for Game 7.
Yeah, I agree. I think Game 7s are always good for the ratings, good for the game.
To add to this, I think Kawhi Leonard is playing so good right now. Such a go-to player for the Raptors. Kind of really putting that team on the back,
back to the Sixers.
This is what the Raptors wanted, They had, a good team, but they could never get over the hump with Lowry and DeRozan. Now you go and bring in Leonard, and now you got this other guy, Pascal Siakam, who's becoming their other go-to player. This guy out of nowhere. Then you got veteran players. You still have Lowry, you still have Gasol, and if this team makes it to the finals, they're going to be a tough out. And I think if they make it to the finals, that just may be enough to get Kawhi Gasol that long-term contract that they're hoping for. That was a bit, the biggest mystery all season is bringing in Kawhi, knowing that he didn't want to come there to Santiago. He did not want to be there. That wasn't a team that he wanted to go to. And pretty much said, I'm coming here just for 1 year. I'll do my best, but I'm not, things that you read and whether they're true or not, I think he's kind of enjoying his time. Enjoy the training staff, how well they've taken care of him, and that they're not overloading him with the minutes this year and kind of preserving him, which he appreciates. Whether that's, when push comes to shove in July and, when the Lakers come home, you get a face-to-face meeting with LeBron, is that going to be enough, is he going to remember all the good things they have? So how does the series then impact, the future of, the Raptors?
Yeah, definitely. Kawhi is definitely bringing a big difference between him and DeRozan. I think he's that key player they needed to push him on the edge because Toronto were big chokers these past couple of years, and they could be at the cusp of going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Of course, back to the Sixers. I mean, they say this team was the team of the future, but do you think they just lack maturity?
Yeah, sometimes they're just puzzling, And I don't know if this is a team of the future, San Diego. Yeah, remember, Butler and Harris are free agents. Probably not. You're not going to keep both of them. Embiid is kind of he's a great player, but he's kind of, lacks leadership and maturity at times. And same thing with Ben Simmons. It's hard to, I think they're always going to be good as long as they can, get the most out of Simmons and Embiid. But, is this team of the future? I don't know. There might be a team that always just tries to add pieces, during, the trade, But, they have some room. They'll probably make it. They basically got to decide, I think, between both of them, because they can't offer them both max contracts. Because you want to be able to keep money in, because you're going to want to give Embiid a big contract here, so, too, in the future.
That's correct. I mean, he's supposed to be the franchise player, and obviously.
Embiid is the guy, you're going to build a team around.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I said, it's just.
Exactly.
Not the guy you really want to build a team around, you have no choice because you got to. But
yeah, I mean, those type of players don't come around as much.
About his maturity level.
Yeah, but he's still in his early 20s, early to mid 20s. So
yeah, he's a young kid. I mean, and they kind of took a chance on him knowing his injury history at Kansas. When he was in college, and they didn't get his first year, but when he, last couple years. He came on strong and kind of put this franchise on his back. But, they struggled for a long time, when they missed somebody to fix them, too. Remember, they missed on Markel Fultz. They traded him to Orlando, who doesn't even play. New Orleans Noel, is a bench player for the Thunder right now. So most of the two players they picked aren't even on the roster anymore.
Well, there you have it. Ryan is going for Philadelphia tonight, and he's going for Portland, so make it a Game 7 classic that will probably be played this weekend. Really happy about the NBA playoffs. These semifinals have been one of the best I've seen in a while. They're really close, really tight.
That's what we all thought. That's at the beginning, We knew the four best teams in the Eastern Conference, and they all won their first round series, so set up, matchups we won, and, the cream rises to the top. The Bucks are the best, San Diego. We can talk about the Raptors and Sixers, but whoever plays against is going to be an underdog against, the Milwaukee right now. Just the way that
you said it was probably Golden State.
Well, in the Eastern Conference, but in the Western Conference, if you got Golden State and does come out of the West, and you got Golden State and Milwaukee, that'd be a lot of star power in the court, and it'd be entertaining for sure. But at the same time, I'm ready for something else, San Diego. I'm ready for the Broncos. I'm kind of a James Harden guy, I guess you could say.
We'll see if Houston can relive the mid 90 days of Hakeem Olajuwon and of course.
I tell you what the NBA is not cheering for would be a Nuggets Raptors final, but that would be a rating disaster.
That would be quite interesting. Hopefully, there'll be something different this year.
Nuggets is hiding a rating disaster for the NBA, but I'm not saying that teams the Nuggets don't deserve it. It's always good to hear.
Well, Ryan, we're coming towards the end of the show. Random question: who is your favorite Toy Story character? Woody, Rex, Buzz, or Mr. Potato Head? The wind, couldn't hear you because of the wind.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, who's your favorite Toy Story character? Woody, Rex, Buzz, or Mr. Potato Head?
Oh, it's got to be Woody. You can ask my wife. I think Buzz Lightyear, Buzz killed it. At least Toy Story 1 for sure. But.
Well, there you have it, Ryan. How can people reach you to talk to you about the Rockets?
Probably, Mad Dog Report, sometimes on the Sportscast Twitter, but, loving these NBA playoffs just like you, and excited to see, what, the next month holds, as we get towards the end of May, baseball is heating up, so, the Red Sox are starting to actually win a couple of games here, and world champions. Actually, looking forward to it. What do you think about, some of the Red Sox players not going to the White House?
Yeah, there's 15 of them. I think they should just respect the office and go, but, obviously, each to its own. Not everyone goes, not even Tom Brady. So.
It's not distraction, people got their own views, and yes, you should respect the office, but, but it is interesting, times are changing.
Yeah, but wait, it's 15 out of, what's the total, how many players are in a team? Typically.
Did you say how many players are going?
No, I mean, how many players are in a team, in a baseball team? Is it 30 players?
28.
28. Okay,
Yeah.
Wow, so only half of them. Hey, it's better than nothing, you know? So,
Yeah, so it's better than that, turning down the whole thing.
yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's what it is. Anyways.
Yeah, but, that's life in the 21st century, Santiago.
Yeah, it's a different time. Yeah, this is the Sportscast. Follow us at the Sportscast1 for any updates, college football, NBA. And who you got between Liverpool and Tottenham? Who do you think is going to win?
What was that one more time?
Who do you think is going to win between Tottenham and versus Liverpool?
Oh, yeah. What a surprising Champions League matchup there.
Yeah, it is.
I think I'm going to go with Liverpool. I think that's your team, right, Santiago?
That is my team, and I think they're heavily favorited. But, I'm pretty happy that it's an English final, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Big Harry Kane fan, but I'll go with Liverpool for you.
Well, anyways, Ryan, Christa, I appreciate you coming to the Sportscast. Visit us at thesportscast.net, and NBA is just this whole month. There's nothing else. NFL mini camps and Antonio Brown. Le'Veon Bell not showing up, but it's voluntary. He doesn't have to, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they got. Hopefully, people, everybody shows up to camps now when you got mandatory what's happening up here at the beach. But like we said, we always got the NBA that keep us going.
All right, guys. Ryan, stay healthy. Thanks for coming on to the Sportscast.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Santiago. I love you guys. Bye-bye.